Hello, I told you I was going to come back, and look what I have, a bunch of bearded, handsome gentlemen and non-bearded gentlemen.
Where?
I just talk about myself and John here. There's going to be something that you definitely want to hear about, and you guys are wanting to stay tuned with for this, so just wait for it. We'll be right back. Let's go. Okay, guys, I told you earlier on the morning show that we were going to have some distinguished guests here this morning, and it's no other than these gentlemen right here. But let me tell you something a little about this. I touched base with Michael about what was going on here, and there's nothing short about what is about to be talked about. So just sit with us, and if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them. If not, we'll go ahead and address them later on. But further ado, tell everybody who you are and what makes you famous.
Famous? Well, my name is Michael Rollins. I'm from Prescott here. I served in the Navy 1968, 1972. My last 2 years, I was aboard the USS Oriskany aircraft carrier in Vietnam, and I was a rank of E4. I worked on the flight deck with the jet engines.
Yes, and my name is Steve Zingalli. My rank was E4 also. I was in the Army. I was a crew chief door gunner on the Rebel assault helicopters in Vietnam. I did my 3 tours there. I was in the Army from 1968 to 1970.
Oh, John's like, hey, I didn't know that. Go ahead, John.
I'm John Schuster from Yorktown, Virginia. And I took off from there for running for the wall about 2-3 weeks ago. And I was in the service for 21 years, in 18 years in helicopters. And I was a Spec 6, which is same as a staff sergeant.
When did you join the Army?
Oh, I joined the Army in 1953, 3 March 1950.
I think my mom was.
But I was in for 2 years, and then
I wasn't even born
got
yet.
out and went and worked in the steel mills, and then went back in because they had a big steel strike. Every 3 years they have big steel strikes, and I told my mother, I says, I'm going back in. So I went back in and stayed for 21 years in.
He's like, man, I don't want to be out here.
Oh,
I'd rather be in here. Okay, so this is a very, very big deal, and ultimately there is a reason why these men are here, and we are going to find out a little bit about what the whole deal is about. Go ahead and start, Michael, about what the whole deal is. I mean, I got a little image up right now. It's Run for the Wall. We ride for those who can. So just talk a little bit about that.
Well, I reached out to you, and I want to thank you for allowing us to come here. On May 18th, the 3 of us, along with about 1,400 other motorcyclists, all veterans and people who support veterans, are leaving from Ontario, California, all the way to Washington, D.C. This started back in 1986 with a gunnery sergeant, James Gregory. A very small group wanted to go to the Vietnam Wall. And since then, it has grown. This is now the 32nd year. John, this is his 19th year doing this run. This will be my 5th year, and this will be Steve's 1st year. We do this run. It started out to honor the Vietnam vets, and it has morphed into now we honor all veterans of all branches. But it mainly focuses on the Vietnam vet, and it kind of is the welcome home parade or the welcome home for the Vietnam vet who never got that back in the late 60s. For those of you that were around, a lot of the Vietnam vets got negative feedback when they came back from the Vietnam War. And so this is for healing and for a lot of PTSD people from the Vietnam. I'm the youngster in this group here, right here. I was born in 1950. Steve, when were you born?
49.
49. John, when were you born?
Should I tell them?
Yeah.
Can they count that one
December 17, 1932. I'll be 90 years old come this December.
Yeah.
I wanted to come on here today to honor my friend John on his 19th run and Steve on his first run. John, as he just said, will be 90 years old this coming December. John left. When did you leave? On Sunday or Monday after Easter?
Yeah. Yep.
He left Monday after Easter from Virginia all by himself on his Harley. He was coming to California. He did a side trip to South Dakota to visit his son for a week or so. And then he came down to Prescott, and he's here till tomorrow. And then after tomorrow, he will leave and go to Ontario and meet up with about 13 or 1,400 other motorcyclists. Run for the Wall is 3 major routes now. We have a central route, a midway route, and a southern route. John and I will be on the midway route. Steve will be on the southern route. And we stop along the way. My previous 4 times on this, and John's 19 times, was on the central route. And this is, each time we would come into a community, they would welcome us. We did not pay for a meal for 10 days going across the U.S. It is an incredible emotional experience of how the people of this country welcome the veterans as they come into their communities. The further we get into the middle of our country, the more patriotic this country is. But the patriotism is still there, and it makes us feel very, very good. So that's a brief, a little longer than brief history of the Run for the Wall.
What an amazing event. I mean, this is something that, you guys, you said it right now. You said emotional. I don't even know half of the stuff that you guys have been through, let alone John here. But what I do notice is that you said a couple of things that you guys weren't honored when you guys came back from the Vietnam War. And that right there, kind of really does like.
It was a sad time. Very sad time.
We weren't even allowed to wear our uniforms when we came home.
Well,
it was a very sad time.
So this is a good thing that you guys are able to go ahead and now see that.
Right.
How does it make you guys feel?
Oh, it's just amazing. We'd be going across the middle of the country. We would come up to an overpass, and the people know we're coming, and the overpass is just filled with American flags and fire trucks and people screaming and hollering. I get goosebumps just talking about it. And then when you pull into towns, you would think we're the presidential parade of a president that people like. Yes. And the school shut down, the kids come out, they feed us. They give us also on my jackets on the floor, they give us little beads to wear, and they're extremely appreciative, and we just love it. And they pay for a lot of our fuel going across. Even this time, with the price of fuel the way it is, there have been very generous donations that help pay for the fuel. I mean, it costs a lot to get 1,400 motorcycles from California to Washington, D.C.
Well, we'll have a big old truck behind you guys so that you guys can fill up whenever you feel like it.
There you go.
That should be the on this trip for you guys. Yeah, one of the things that really amazes me, John, is that you actually are just like putting a lot of effort. What does this make you feel like when you're traveling all over? I mean, is this what you do on a regular basis, or where's your home base at?
My home base is in Yorktown, Virginia, on the battleground. And you're coming in town, and people are standing along the curbs and that, waving, give you high fives, and it just makes you goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel really good, and you're being honored. And we end up, sometimes we go up to VA hospitals. We go to old people's homes.
Yes. And we also visit a lot of the memorial sites along the way.
Right.
Wow. Well, is there one memory that you guys have when traveling? I know this is your first year.
This is my first year.
When is there one memory that sticks out the most out of your whole life? I mean, even starting in the Army, like tell us a little story about that one thing that makes stand out. That stands out to you.
Well, what gets me is, excuse me, they asked me, how do you ride and not have any rain? And I say, I talk to the guy upstairs every morning and ask for dry roads and blue skies. And he usually gives it to us. Yeah. Last year, I don't think we had a bit of rain.
No, we had a little bit going out of Dallas area, but other than that, we had a beautiful ride.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful ride.
Well, this is cool. The best. I do the same thing. Is like, there would be a big old storm, and I think that God provides in a way that we have never seen before, and it would be just like you said, a nice little clear area around it. Everybody in the
For
crew was like,
miles.
man, we're getting ready to get rained on. I was like, don't worry about it. I got our back.
That's right.
But that's one thing, bringing up the rain. The group, a Run for the Wall group, the central route's the biggest. It's almost 500 motorcycles now. And we have our platoon set up. And each platoon has anywhere between 30, 40, or 50 motorcycles in it. And then there's a break between platoons. And the southern route is going to be, where are they going to meet in?
Ontario to the first, on my first
Yeah.
place, I'll be down in Casa Grande.
Yeah, Casa Grande on the night of the 18th with the people in Casa Grande. They'll be welcoming the southern route. The northern area, we're going through Flagstaff. But anyhow, what I was going to say is, even if it does rain, the group doesn't stop. They don't stop unless it is a major life-threatening storm with either tornadoes or lightning. Just rain. I have ridden where it's been torrential downpours, and you keep riding. We have a mission.
Yeah, you have to be prepared the day before or the day of the kickstands up. And so you want to look at the weather report and prepare for it. Sometimes you just put your rain gear, the lowers on, and have your uppers ready to grab if you make a stop. You can throw it on.
It is impressive to see, 300 to 500 motorcycles coming down the freeway and organized platoons and the traffic in some states, one state in particular, when I did it on the central route, the entire state of New Mexico, their highway patrol escorted us through the state. They would shut the freeways down momentarily as we would go through. And everybody's just so cooperative. It's just, this is Steve's first time, and he's about to experience this. And it's hard to hold back the tears and the emotions because it is quite emotional.
I've been to the moving wall in California, and my wife had to hold me up. So this is going to be special.
It's a great week. We still live in an absolutely fantastic country. And like I said, the closer we get from each coast towards the middle, the more patriotic this country is. And the people that turn out for us and give to us, people will do bake sales. These little bitty towns that we pull into, they'll do a bake sale all year long to get enough money to buy us a tank of gas. And they come out there and we get hugs. And the run during COVID, 20 and 21 is shut down. That was his first year. It was going to be 2020 and it shut down because of COVID. Last year, it was officially shut down, but John and I and the field crew, we worked the field crew. We just said, the heck with it. We're going anyhow. So we had like 16 bikes in our group. So we went all the way. We followed the same route that we would normally follow. And we met a lot of other single groups from Run for the Wall that says, we're going anyhow. So this is the first year for the past 2 years that has been the official run. And it's going to be quite impressive.
And we did all 3 routes that year.
Yeah. We
That's
zigzag.
That's so insane. So let's talk a little bit about when you guys actually get to your destination. What is going on at that point in time?
We get in DC on Memorial Day that Friday.
That Memorial weekend, yes.
Yeah.
And what happens at that point in time at that location?
Well, they go down and it used to be they'd ride down what's Constitution Avenue.
Well, on Friday when we pull in to DC, that Friday night, we go down to the Marine Barracks. The Marine Barracks puts on a show, and that's fabulous. The Marines put on a great show on Friday night. Then Saturday, the entire Run for the Wall group, we go to Arlington National Cemetery and we go to the grave of the unknown soldier, and we have a ceremony there. And then right after that, we go to the Viet Nam Wall and we pay our respects there, and we have a plaque, Run for the Wall. We have a formal presentation. For those of you that have not been to the Viet Nam Wall, it is an absolutely beautiful setup. And every day it is amazing, the veterans, the tokens of love and tokens of appreciation, the things that are left at the wall. And those are picked up every single day. Other than the flowers, everything is stored in a building. And I can't even imagine what they have stored.
And somebody had left their motorcycle there.
Yeah.
And it is stored.
Everything.
Oh, wow.
It is just amazing.
Their Harley Davidson, yeah.
Well, I'm showing the actual some footage from the event itself with the motorcycles riding, and then you guys. I don't know what city this is, but this is something that you guys will see if you guys are on the route. This is a very big deal, and for you to be doing it for so many years, that is awesome to honor those that you know that can be you know there with it is another story. We could probably sit here all day and talk about all those dang things, but we don't want to go ahead and take many more of your time because I know that you have some things. Let's talk a little bit about. Okay, so when Steve came up, he goes, I started something new. And this is something that I would like for you to talk about if you don't mind. But he offered me one, and I was like, this is awesome.
This is my first year for Run for the Wall, but I also belong to the Patriot Guard Riders, and so does Michael. What we do is we escort the fallen veterans to their final resting place. On many of the rides,
take a breath.
On many of the rides, after the rides, we go and get something to eat or whatever, and a lot of people come out and say, "Thanks for your service." And all we're able to do is shake their hands and say, "You're welcome." So I started making the crosses, and it says POWs, you are not forgotten. And on the back side, I put on there, thank you for your support. And so when this fine gentleman said, thank you for your service, I gave it to him as a support for us that have served.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. If there is one word of advice that you want to give to your fellow community, your friends, your family, United States of American citizens, what would it be, John?
I'd say go to the wall and see the wall.
Yeah.
It's very inspirational. I've been to the wall 19 years now. I was able to walk up to the wall one time. I can't do it anymore. It hits me right here. And I was lucky that when I was in Vietnam, both tours, none of my comrades in our unit had got shot. Well, we was flying helicopters then, so we was high and dry.
Yeah, for me, it's again, this is my first time, but I did see the moving wall in California at Knoxbury Farm, of all places. And this has been a mission on my bucket list for many years. So I'm totally looking forward to it. I have a few members of my assault helicopter group that are there. So looking forward to it.
If there's one thing that you wanted to share with the people out there, what would it be? One word.
Thank a veteran.
I would ditto everything that these gentlemen have said, and I would also remind everyone that's watching, you live in one of the greatest countries on this planet, and your freedom that you enjoy today, your freedom that you have, is because of the veterans that have stood up and given you those rights that you have and fought for those rights. So remember that. Honor all veterans of all wars. They're the ones that gave their all so you could have your freedom. And I thank you.
Well, I can't add to that, but with that being said, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us here.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So long.
Let me just do the exit, and we're out.